Hey everyone, Andrew at Microphonic Designs here. It's been a while since I've done a video, but we are back at it in 2024 with a fresh cabling system for my alma mater, Ocean Lakes High School. I graduated back in 2011, and since then, the percussion program has absolutely exploded. And today, they are doing quite a few things. They've got, of course, the marching band program, an indoor color guard, and they've got the indoor percussion program. And so they've contacted me this year for help with a new cabling system. This is the largest group that they have ever had, and so far, what they've been doing is just taking all of the microphones from their marimbas and their vibes, and they've just been doing really long cables and connecting them to the mixer, which for a group this size is not the most efficient way to do it. It is a way to get into it if all you have are long cables. But they have purchased a full new cabling setup from me, and I thought I would share with you all the cabling layout that I came up with for them. And then one of the other things that we're going to do is actually color code all of the cabling. We're going to label the packaging with what instrument each cable needs to go on, and then all of those cables are going to be shipped out to the school in Virginia. And when they open the box, all they're going to have to do is divvy out the cables to whatever instrument they're labeled for, unbox everything, and simply zip tie the cables to the instruments. The color coding, the planning, the design, all of that's going to be handled for them. But they're just going to have to zip tie cables onto the instruments. And they've got a bit of a unique setup this year where they have 4 marimbas in the front row, kind of off to side 2, which makes it pretty easy to put all of the microphones into a little bro subsnake, which is just going to come up this way and plug into the mixer. They've got a xylophone and I think like a glockenspiel setup. I can't remember why we labeled this BM, but this is sort of the xylo glock setup right in the middle in front of the drum set. They've got their vibraphones off to side 1 in kind of a pod here. So as you can see, we're going to take the cables from the front 2 vibraphones, put them into a bundle, and that's going to go to the back row vibe here, and it's going to connect to another bundle here. So we're not using a full sub snake for this, an 8-channel snake, because we only need 4 channels coming over to the vibes. So I'm just going to do the old zip tie method with a few 15-foot cables to go from the vibraphone pod all the way along here to the mixer cart. We also have a drum set that they're going to have 5 mics on, kick, snare, tom, tom, tom. And that is going to go into a subsnake, and that's also going to be shared with a hardware synthesizer that they're going to use for bass guitar sounds because the show that they bought this year calls for some bass guitar parts. So they're going to have a synth that does just bass guitar. So they kind of have the rhythm section here in the middle, which makes all the sense in the world. And then over here, they have the largest electronic setup that they've pretty much ever had, where we have 2 synth parts and a mount station part. And I've sort of been giving them helpful tips on how to do their main stage setup. They have had to make some modifications because the show that they purchased came with a main stage file, but it only had the 2 keyboards on the screen for the 2 written synth parts, and so they needed to add some stuff for the mount station. So for the electronics hub over here, the middle cart is going to have the laptop and the audio interface and the cables that come across. The mount station cart is going to have some jumper cables here that kind of carry the signal over from the middle cart. And then we're going to have a couple of little 3-foot pigtail cables that hang off of the mixer cart for those to plug into, so that they're not connecting and disconnecting from the mixer itself, but rather a cable that's plugged into the back of the mixer all the time. And so that's sort of the concept with this. So we've got snake here, homemade bundle here, and then a couple of pigtail cables here. And all of those are going to be connected to the back of the mixer all the time, so that when they set up, they simply deploy the snakes and the bundles from the mixer to their spots, and then they connect cables from wherever they need to the snakes. And this will be a really big improvement to their overall efficiency in setting up. For an ensemble of this size, it's a lot of stuff that has to get moved onto the floor and then off in a very short amount of time. So having the cables set up in this way, I think, is really going to be a benefit and an improvement for them. the electronics hub, to kind of go back to that for a second, I chose the middle cart here so that all they have to do is connect a USB from the second MIDI controller to the main cart, and then from the mallet station to the main cart. And then maybe they can share a speaker or something like that. I'll have to work with them on exactly how they want to do the monitor speakers for this, but I do think this will be the most efficient way. So yeah, just a quick walkthrough of the design of the system. And again, I do have a spreadsheet that outlines all of the inputs, what color code everything is going to be. They've already got access to those files. And then the next step for today is going to be to pull all of the cables from inventory, which I have in a bunch of boxes in the side of my office over here. And we're going to label everything, get it all color coded, and we'll take a look at the final result before I get everything boxed and shipped out. So let's go ahead and get to color coding these cables. All right, so I've gotten everything sorted and labeled and color coded. So just to kind of show what I'm talking about, I've got different piles of cables for each different instrument that the cables are going to go on. And you can sort of see here, so like marimba 3 is going to have 2 cables that come across from marimba 4. They're all color coded, so like these cables would connect together after they're put on the marimbas. And then we've got 2 cables for the blue microphones, the blue color code on marimba 3, and so forth for marimbas 1 and 2 as well. We got the red and the white. We've got the vibraphone stack here. So these are all the cables that are going to go on the vibraphones. We've also got the bundle, the vibraphone bundles. Let me reach over and grab this. So this is the front row vibe bundle, and you can sort of see there I've already zip tied these cables together and they are color coded. So this bundle would basically be the jumper between the front row vibes and the back row vibes. And then this is the vibraphone pod to mixer bundle. And again, you can sort of see there that I've got all 4 of these cables, of course color coded, but also tied together so that really all they have to do is take the packaging off and they're good to go. So that's that. We've also got a fat stack of drum set cables, kick, snare, high tom, mid tom, low tom, all color coded, ready to go. Cables for their mallet station cart. There should be another set, of mixer cart cables there. We've got main stage outputs left and right, all color coded, ready to go. And these snakes are going to go back in the box for like shipping, but I just wanted to showcase like this here. This is the white snake. This is for drum set and the bass guitar synth. I've got everything color coded, ready to go. Red, double red for the bass guitar synth, white, blue, yellow, green, orange for the drum set. And then here I've got the marimba snake. This is the red snake that I've labeled marimbas. And again, I've got everything, all the channels color coded, so all they have to do when they open the box is strap the cables onto the instruments. And a few additional things that I'm going to include in the box is, of course, the cabling layout so that they can reference the actual instruments based on the layout. So, for example, the cable stack from M4 is going to be distributed to marimba 4 on the diagram. I've also got the input list for their mixer so that they know what channels are going where when they plug into the snake, and what snake channels they need to plug into which inputs on their mixer. And they have a Behringer X32, I think it's the producer, the small 16 channel version. And then they also have the S16 stage box that goes with that Behringer mixer. So got everything laid out here, got all the color codes laid out. And then I also have a cabling list so that they can have a checklist when they distribute the cables to each instrument of how many cables should be on each instrument. And I've done this so that for marimba 2, for example, you can see there should be 3 10-foot cables and a 6-foot cable. These 2 should be white, these 2 should be red, and this is the signal that those cables are going to carry. And so these documents are going to go in the box along with the packing slip, of course, that I actually just got printed out. So here it is. There's the packing slip. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, this is one of the ways that Microphonic Designs is really able to add value to buying new cables for your front ensemble. You know, it's much more for us, it's much more than just supplying new cables. We're really trying to help free up additional time for band directors and educators to spend teaching their students. So if I can handle all of this stuff and plan it out all for them, all up front as a part of their, like cabling package purchase, that's just amazing. And I'm really fortunate that this is something that I'm able to help with, and I certainly hope that the client will find it helpful. I think they will. So as always, if you have questions, comments about this process, let me know. Leave it down in the comments below. I'm happy to give ideas and, of course, schedule appointments with you if you would like help recabling your front ensemble. Until next time, guys, take it easy. I'll see you then.